Hey, what is up YouTube? Starting my second part to my Haxe tutorial number 4. Like I said last night, we're going to start working on how to fire a bullet and collision detection. And we're going to be using those two active lists that we made that we didn't use yet. So let's get started. I'm going to open up Flash Develop on my other monitor. I should have had that going before you guys got here. Okay, so here we are. Let me go to my develop folder, Haxe, and we're going to be working in the Entity Manager class. And we're also going to be working in the main class because we have to do an input event with the mouse click. So you want to get those two open for right now. So as you can see, I got main and entity open. Let's handle our mouse click first off. So yeah, go to main. And we have to import one more class file. You can put these imports wherever you want. I'm just putting it right below the mouse one, whatever. Open fl.events.mouse event. And that's the class, of course, to handle all the mouse events. There's not a ton of them. It's just like moving around and clicks, stuff like that. I don't know if it can handle the extra mouse clicks or anything, but I know it can handle the scroll wheel, the left and right mouse click, and there's also some like modifier stuff in there that's pretty cool. So like if you're holding the Control, Shift, or Alt keys, it can handle those as well. So you don't have to do a key event to see if you're holding a key while you're doing a click. It just saves you some code. But we're not going to be messing with that right now. Get out of here. Stab. Okay, so let's first off, we're going to add an event listener. So stage.add event listener mouse event dot click, and make sure it's all caps, otherwise they'll get mad at you. And we're going to make a function called on click. Okay, so let's go down here. Public function on click. That's annoying. Puts that extra space in there. E mouse event. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I want mouse event. Why isn't that capitalized? That's better. Make that a void. Okay, so what's going to happen when we click the mouse? Well, we have to tell the entity manager that we're firing a bullet. So let's make a function real quick for firing a bullet in entity manager. And there's not going to be any inputs for fire bullet because everything in fire bullet, or everything in entity manager will know what's going on. So we don't have to hand fire bullet anything. So we're going to do public function fire okay, and then on click we're going to go em.firebullet, and that's all we got to do for our on click. There's more elegant ways of handling events, like input events. This is just a really simple way because when I click, as of right now, the only thing that's ever going to happen is a bullet's going to get fired. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Like, because if I was going to have like a main menu for this thing, I would have to hand off the firing events to a state manager. So then the state would know, like, the state manager would know what state the game is in, and then it would know what to do with the mouse event, the mouse click event, along with the other keyboard events. If you're in the main menu state, you don't want to fire a bullet, you'd want to be able to click on menu items or something like that. But for right now, this is a fine way of doing it. We don't have to go over the top. Let's go back to Entity Manager, and in fire bullet, let's think of... Stop it. Spam's being really stupid on the other screen. What's going to happen when we fire a bullet? Oof. So we're going to have to take a bullet out of sleeping bullets, we're going to have to take that bullet and we're going to have to put it into active entities, and we're also going to have to put it into active bullets. We also have to make sure the bullet is going to be visible, and we also have to make sure that we're setting a speed and the position and the angle the bullet's going to be firing off in. So a few things to keep in mind while we're doing this. So first off, we don't want to try and pop a item out of the sleeping bullets list if there's none there, because that'll throw an exception. Index out of bounds exception, I believe, is what it would be called. So let's do if sleeping bullets dot count, no, dot length. Length is greater than 0, then we can grab a bullet from them. And then we have to make a temporary variable since we're popping the item out of the list, which a pop, it literally takes the first item off the list, so it's an O of 1 operation, and it puts it into a variable. If you do a pop, like if I just do sleeping bullets dot pop, it'll take the item off the list and it's gone. So we actually have to do var temp bullet equals that. So now we're actually getting that item that's getting popped out of the list, and sleeping bullets is losing that item. Next we're going to do temp bull dot awake. Telesense. Why you no work? True. Is it mad at me? No, not mad at me. Okay, I guess IntelliSense is just being stupid. Temp bull dot visible equals true. Temp bull dot set speed. We are gonna. I tried setting the speed to 20, and that seemed to give it a good, decent speed. And remember, we made a set speed function, and or at least we didn't make it. I just gave you guys the code. I think I actually put it in the bullet in the base draw entity. Yeah, so you can see set speed right here. It pretty much just takes a speed and an angle, and it breaks it off into a 2D coordinates, so it knows how to like how much like left right to go and how much up down to go per update. So that's going to become the new speed, and that's how much it's going to add to the XY coordinates every single time. It's pretty simple code. You guys can look through it later, play around with it. And now we have to know what the angle is, and since the rotation of the sprite is dealing with degrees, we also want to deal with degrees, so we don't have to do any converting, except for, of course, in the set speed function, because it's using cosine and sine functions, it has to be in radians. So other than that, we don't have to convert anything. So comma, we have to know the angle, which is going to be player, oops, yeah, you can see we got that's why we declared player up here, is so we could use it down here. Player dot angle. No? Oh wait, it's rotation. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so yeah, now we have player dot rotation. After that, we have to set the bullet's position. So temp bull dot set postion. Wow, I'm an awesome speller. Yeah, position. There we go. That's better. Postion. What am I thinking? Yeah, so the position is going to be the player player dot get. Did I spell that wrong too? No, I didn't spell that one wrong. Player get position. Well, I spelled that wrong. I want to make sure nothing's mad at me yet. has no set position. There we go. Okay, everyone's happy for it now. Okay, and now we have to put temp bowl into active entities. We're going to use push temp bowl, and now this is going to be putting it into the render list. And then we're going to do active bullets dot push temp bowl. Sweet. After that, we're pretty much done with the fire bullet. So, theoretically, this should let us fire a bullet. Let me set it to Nico. Build, make sure no one's mad, and play. Oh, you know what? I don't have a sprite for the bullet yet, so I'm actually going to grab that out of my other one real quick. Okay, so like you couldn't see it, but I was putting stuff in different folders, so let's see how it goes. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's pretty small. There it goes. So as you can see, nothing's really happening to them. They go so far and they get deleted. And if you're wondering why it's going around and it's actually coming back without me doing any extra code, it's because if you look in the update function, you can see right here, it's getting handled right there. It's getting treated just like an asteroid and a player, which are all in the active entities list. And so we don't have to make 3 or 4 for loops that make sure everything stays on the screen. We only have one for loop that takes every single entity that's supposed to loop between the sides of the screen, and it just saves a lot of code and whatever. So like if I wanted to change something on one of these, I don't have to change it in 5 or 6 different places. It's just a lot easier to deal with. And then also, since I'm doing padding and in padding, I can actually go up here and change the variables, and I don't have to change it in even more places. I only have to change it in two places as opposed to, let's see how many places I'm using this. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I wanted to change one of these without using those variables, I'd have to change that 40 in 4 different places, and I would also have to change this one in 4 different places, which would suck. So that's a good thing to keep in mind if you want to save yourself some hassle in the future. So next, we're going to be doing collision detection, and we're going to be doing the simplest kind of collision detection, which is just radius collision detection, which is where you have every single object essentially has a circle around them, and you can tell when objects are colliding when you do a distance formula. If you've ever taken trig, you know what the distance formula is by heart. Since you know what the radius is, you take the radius, you compare the two radiuses to the distance formula, and if the radiuses add to be more than the distance between the centers of the circles, that means they're colliding. If the two radiuses added together are less than the distance, then that means they're not colliding. This isn't the most efficient way. The way we're going to do it isn't the most efficient way of doing radius collision detection. Just because we're going to be comparing every single object against every single object, or every single bullet against every single asteroid, which isn't a very efficient way of doing it. There's way more efficient ways that I've been reading about, but this is definitely the simplest way, and it's definitely something that's applicable to this size of project, just because we're not having thousands of sprites on the screen, so we don't need to worry about that performance quite yet. There's stuff out there, if you want to look into it, would be called what's it called? A quad tree. That's one thing that is used for more efficient collision detection. It's a bit confusing because it's a more advanced data structure. I would recommend reading into it if you're interested. It's definitely something to look into. It's pretty cool. I'm still a little confused by it, but I haven't dedicated a ton of time to it quite yet. So let's move on. We're going to make a new function called check collision. I don't know why I like to put my curly braces up there, but totally up to you guys. So yeah, we have to make an iterator to loop through our list like we've been doing up here, just so you guys know what's going on. So var bool it equals active bullets dot iterator. So yeah, we're gonna first loop through all of our bullets that are active. Because if we do that, because we have to do check collision every single frame, pretty much. You could probably do it other ways. You could check every other frame, but that's not a huge deal right now. So we're going to do a check every single frame, but we should only be checking if there's bullets on the screen. And if we do a for loop, because we have to do a nested for loop, if we do a for loop that iterates through the active bullets first instead of the active asteroids first, there's always going to be asteroids on the screen for the most part. Yeah, so we won't actually go through this big for loop because the list for bullets will be empty. So we'll save ourselves a bit of processing time, most of the time. So for x in bulit, sorry, I didn't explain that very well, but let me try one more time. Okay, so we're going to go into check collision. Now let's say there's no bullets on the screen. Okay, we're going to pass over this for loop and we're not going to run any code inside of here. So it'll save us some CPU cycles. You know, that was a lot easier. So for y in, and we're going to get the iterator for, hang on a second. Oh, that's a cool way of doing it. I don't think we need to. Whatever. Yeah, there's another way to get the iterator. So you don't actually have to declare a variable. I just remembered because I saw in my other code. We can do active rocks dot iterator. I don't know. I thought I tried that last night and I thought it didn't work. Or I tried it a couple days ago and I thought it didn't work for some reason. Like I was having issues, but I think I was having issues with something else. So yeah, if you wanted to, just save yourself a couple lines of code, or a line of code. I don't know if that's more or less efficient. I don't know if you run through an iterator, if you have to re-initialize it. You'd have to play with it. Because it would be more efficient if you wouldn't have to grab the iterator every single time you went through a bullet. But, I don't know. I'm just going to leave it like this because it works. So, we're going to get our var. We're going to get our, we're going to make a temporary rock. So var rock equals x, and all we need is the position. All we need is the position, really. Get position, and for the, oh wait, no, that's gonna be the bullet. My bad. We're just gonna name it bull. And var rock equals y dot get position. I don't know why bullet's not let me get any IntelliSense from it, but whatevs. Okay, and now we're going to do a var dist equals. Now this is just the distance formula I'm about to do. So math.sqr root math.pow. You don't have to use pow. You could actually just do, I'll show you in a second, bool.x, it has to be capital X, minus rock.x 2. So that's saying those two to the power of 2. But you could actually take this code, copy it twice, and put a multiplication sign in between them. That'd be the same thing, but I'm just using pow because I can. I don't know if it's more or less efficient. You guys would have to do some reading. Math dot pow is, and we can pretty much just copy and paste this chunk, and we'll just replace the x's with y's. because you got to make sure that it doesn't matter if rock or bullet comes first, it just has to be the same in the second part, because it's always going to be a positive number. You can't have a negative distance if you're using the distance formula correctly, because the square roots, or the power of 2, will always get rid of the negative in a distance formula. So you don't have to worry about that. Just make sure it goes bullet, rock, or it goes rock, bullet, bullet. Simple enough. So now, what you could do, if you wanted to step it up a little bit more, is you could make it so every single object has its own actual radius that you'd have to set a property for in the base draw entity class. I didn't do that because I don't think it's a really big deal right now. Maybe later when we actually start breaking asteroids and they're going to be changing size, we'll have to do that. But for right now, I'm not bothering with making different size entities. So I'm just saying, if the distance is less than 40, they're colliding. Yeah, so let's do that. And we're just going to go set sleep X and set sleep Y. So if they collide, it puts them both into their sleeping list and they're done until we call them again. As for right now, rocks or asteroids do not get called again. Oh, whoops. I forgot to put active bullets. Excuse me. There we go. And our collision detection is not working for some reason. Oh, duh. I'm an idiot. We have to call the function to actually make it work. You know, because that's how functions work. Did you guys know that? I did not know that. Okay, so boop, 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 and there we're shooting down asteroids like a boss. I don't know why they keep randomly disappearing. That's something that's a little funky. So there you guys have it. You can now successfully destroy asteroids and be awesome about it. I would love to hear some feedback if these tutorials are actually helping you guys out. It's just awesome to hear if you guys are getting a kick out of these and you're actually making something fun that you enjoy. I'd love to hear back from you guys. You know, just if you have anything to say, even requests, that'd be awesome. But yeah, comment, rate, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.